Hello everyone, here's a short video on the basic takedown and maintenance of an AR-15 style rifle. Now this model is actually a California legal model, which pretty much means that it has a magazine lock, which renders this gun incapable of receiving a detachable magazine. What that means is if I insert a magazine and I lock it in, I won't be able to detach it without the use of a tool, or I won't be able to remove it without the use of a tool, and a dummy round fully qualifies as a tool. As long as I'm not able to manipulate the magazine release with my finger, as long as I'm not able to manually remove the magazine, it's considered non-detachable. Now, that's how I would normally remove the magazine by the use of a tool. Now, with all legalities aside, let's go ahead and check the firearm to make sure it is in fact empty before we continue anything else. So here I have it, checking the chamber, visually inspecting it, and if you'd like you can also do a actual touch test reaching to the chamber itself after you lock the bolt back to make sure that it is empty. So now that I've confirmed the chamber is empty and the gun is unloaded, you can go ahead and start by separating the upper receiver from the lower receiver. And how you do that is, let's see here, there's two pins that hold the upper and the lower together, and that's the takedown pin back here and the pivot pin in the front. Push those in, turn it back around, and pop them out. And the lower receiver just detaches like so. Now let's take a look inside here of the fire control group. You have your hammer, you have your trigger, and you have the disconnector inside there. You also have your fire select. Of course, 2 modes since it is semi-automatic. Now, inside here is pretty simple. 3 components, pretty much 3 main components. That's not including the springs, which actually play a pretty large role, I guess. But other than that, most people don't even bother taking a look at this because for the most part it stays pretty clean and requires little maintenance, if required at all. And another thing you want to keep in mind, you don't want to pull the trigger while your upper is actually separated, because you don't want to have the hammer slam against your receiver causing it to crack or fracture. You also don't want to damage your firing your hammer, as it might lose enough mass to actually cause a problem with some hard primers you might come across. Other than that, let's put this aside and move on to the upper. The upper is just as easily to take apart. All you need to do is pull out the charging handle and pull out your bolt carrier group, pull out your charging handle, and with here, all you need to do is spray it down with some CLP or the cleaner of your choice. Scrub it down, wipe it off. Same with the bore. Run a bore brush or a bore snake through it. Get rid of any deposits or carbon buildup. Get a chamber brush, clean out the chamber if you'd like, and that's pretty much all you need to do with the upper. Now the bolt carrier group. This rifle is actually designed after the M16 or the M4 battle rifle. So the designers actually made it clever, made it pretty easy to disassemble with the use of just a dummy round. So when you're on the field, you don't have to carry a lot of gear to clean your rifle. Now, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is locate the retaining pin here for the firing pin, remove that. That comes out like so. And next, you want to drop out your firing pin, which right here it just falls out. It's a free float. And an important thing you want to keep in mind is you want to keep it free from oil or grime or any kind of buildup that might cause it to stick inside the bolt. The reason behind that is if it sticks hard enough, it could actually set off any soft primers, or even in some cases regular or hard primers, if it gets stuck that badly. And what happens is after you fire your first shot, the bolt will cycle backwards and chamber the next round, and when it locks into place, the firing pin will still be protruding out, and it'll cause the next round to set off, and essentially you'll have fully automatic fire, which is absolutely illegal unless it's a class 3 weapon. In this case, it's not. It's designed as a semi-automatic rifle, so you cannot have it firing full auto. Okay, now the next step in taking apart the bolt carrier group, rotate the cam pin so it's horizontal, and that just comes out. And then you take apart your bolt, like so. Next step you need to do is you can just clean it like so, but some people take it one step further and remove the extractor. Just push out the pin and just hold it, put some tension on the extractor, because there's actually a spring in here that will actually cause the pin to actually stay in place, as well as gives it some grip on the rim of the case to pull it out. Now you can also clean inside the bolt itself, make sure there's no dirt, grime, or oil stuck in there. You want to make sure it's nice and smooth in there, which it is. Now that's pretty much all there is to the basic assembly of an AR-15 style rifle. And other than that, that's pretty much all there is to it actually. So basic reassembly is just the same thing but backwards. So you take your extractor, put it back on your bolt, line up the holes visually, take your pin, drop it in, and make sure that it's locked into place and it comes out the other side. Make sure it's centered. Take your bolt, insert it into the bolt carrier group, lining up the holes with the slot. Make sure your extractor is facing towards the outside, towards the ejection port. Now take your cam, drop it in horizontally into the bolt, like so. And you want to rotate it so it's vertical again. Now next, you want to take your firing pin, drop it in. Next you take your firing pin retaining pin, slide it in. Make sure your firing pin doesn't fall out. Now, pull your bolt so it's forward and unlocked. Take your upper receiver, take your charging handle. As you'll see, there's two little wings or protrusions on the side of here, and that corresponds to two grooves on the inside of the upper receiver. It just falls in, like so. Insert it maybe in half an inch or a quarter of an inch so it doesn't fall back out. Take your bolt carrier group, take the top of the gas key, line it up with the groove or the channel inside the charging handle, slide it forward, lock it into place. Now, take your lower receiver and simply reattach. Let's go ahead and lock this back. That's locked in, and that's locked in. Now, of course, do a basic function check. That appears to cycle correctly. Now, dry fire. Make sure it's pointing in the safe direction. Okay, that works. Now let's cycle it again and try the safety. And that appears to work. So there you have it. Complete takedown and basic maintenance of an AR-15 style rifle.